We have Kim Porter's Lost Words complete book. Now it's gonna get really interesting because I heard within just the first 20 minutes of this video, we're gonna begin to realize how she starts to get really deep about her relationship with Diddy when it comes to their sexuality, the things that they would do, and all his secrets. This is basically her diary talking about her relationship with him from beginning to end. Now, how do we have this book right here? This book was released for a short amount of time before it got taken off the market. So we have this video right here, Kim Porter's Lost Words complete book. Sean is a psychopath in quotation marks. Without further ado, let's get straight into this. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notification for these daily uploads. Multiple uploads a day. Let's get straight into this.
Goes to a good cause. Okay, let's get on with it. Wait a minute. It has some disclaimers. It says one of Kim's Porter final wishes was for this memoir diary to be made public out of protection for certain parties and their potential criminal activity. Some celebrities, performers, and events have been represented with X's due to their highly explosive nature. At some point in the future, this information will be revealed to the public. Regarding Kim's sudden death and the mysterious illnesses of Albie Shore and Jamie Foxx, evidence does exist that points to foul play and or poisoning. God bless Kim Porter and all of Sean Combs' victims, both male and female. Okay, that is page 1 disclaimer. So let's get into chapter 1, introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband, father of my oldest child, and one of my oldest friends in life, Albie Shore. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it didn't work out. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with, a man whom I would love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here I have to tell this truth. Unfortunately, because deep down I knew everything that was happening, but I lied to myself a lot. He was so charming, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told despite the fact it will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped.
Damn.
Chapter 2.
Now, just to give you guys a quick breakdown of the chapters so we all know what's going on. So, chapter 2, we have humbling beginnings. Chapter 3 is second chances. Chapter 4, forgiveness. This is the most replayed part. Sean kneels. In chapter 6, Tupac. 7, now we're getting into like the threats. 8 says Kidda, and so on, as you guys can see as I'm scrolling through it. Just so you guys know what's to come.
Humble beginnings. I was born to loving parents Jake Porter and Sarah L. Porter in the Peach State of Georgia. All through Columbus High School, when I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. In the 10th grade, one of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown and my home, Georgia. That conversation was so important, so I look back now. It changed my life. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We were married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way, but I was young, and it felt like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, but we got past that quickly. He is just a super dope guy and an amazing father. Though we separated, we were forever bonded through Quincy. Thank you, Al. I will always love you. When I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm, and before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. Sean does seem like the type that can charm you, like, man, he is so cool, until he lets the demons out. Let's continue. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men dare to even dream. I did a video talking about Clive and the other men that mentored Diddy. And you guys should check it out. I think I'm going to put it in the description of this video. Then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoy myself with my partner. And toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. The first time he said he just wanted to experiment, try something new, I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it.
Oh, nah. Oh, man. He bled from it, bro. We already know what type of plug he's using, bro. That is just horrific. Imagine asking your shorty to be stuffed with a plug. Oh, not. Or it could be worse. It could be worse. It don't seem like she gave the specific details.
I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there was ish on it. I left him alone after that. Chapter 3, Second Chances. Sean kept reaching out, and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me, saying, you look so amazing. I replied with a simple, thanks, Sean. I tried to get up and leave, but he pulled my arm. As I turned to him, he looked deep into my eyes and said, look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we? He paused, and I tried to use this as an attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk? My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this as his manipulation tactic, not yet. God, I was so young, so naive. He continued, let's have dinner. And I felt for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in Lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops to impress me. He pulled the chair out for me to sit. Back then, he was always a gentleman. He smiled and said, look, as he sat across from me, I hated it. I never want to do it again. Give me another chance. Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun, things were going great, and we were living the dream.
Yeah, that's just because he was hiding it from you for a year and a half.
That I dreamt about throughout my youth. Sean and Clive were working on Bad Boy, and he had his first couple artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from West Coast called Notorious B1 to help Chris develop. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip-hop to make it happen. Things could not be more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. It was insane. Sean said, baby, I can't stop thinking about it. What the hell are you talking about? I responded. Sean continued, I just can't stop thinking about that night. It was amazing.
Oh, this man a fruit cup.
Can you screw me one more time, please?
Yo!
I became infuriated. Why don't you go to Clive? He is the one screwing you, isn't he? Then Sean hit me. This was the first time he slapped me hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, I'm sorry. Holding my cheek where he hit me, I turned and ran off. That should have been it. But I guess I'm a glutton for punishment.
Damn.
He sent flowers.
He ain't like that one. Attacked his masculinity. Because Clive is most definitely busting Diddy down. We all know it.
Bunch of expensive gifts. Then we bumped into each other at another industry event. He sat down next to me. This was deja vu. Sean started. Imagine running into you here. Get the F away from me, I forced out. He became more serious as he said, Look, baby, I'm sorry. But I just glared at him. There is nothing you can ever say to me, nothing. After an awkward silence, he finished, You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix this, but I'll do anything. I'm sorry. Ish, he can be so sweet. Here we go with the love thing. This time it's not falling in. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite everything, I missed him. As he stood to walk away, I remember hearing myself say, Call me later. What the F is wrong with me? Chapter 4, Forgiveness. Sean arrived with flowers in hand. He wanted to see Quincy. He was so good with him. And Quincy ran over to hug him. I felt my heart melting. He asked Quincy, How you doing, Tiger? Quincy looked so innocent as he responded, I'm good, I miss you. Sean's response sounded genuine. I miss you too. We'll hang out tomorrow, okay? Okay. Sean gave him a little love tap on the butt. It's bedtime, Quincy replied. Okay, good night, as he turned to head towards his bedroom. Here was the man I fell in love with, but what was I thinking? Ish, not only does he want butt plugs, he slapped the ish out of me. So why am I still talking to him? They say that love is blind, but is it stupid too? As Quincy left, Sean looked at me and smiled. Baby, let's go have
I never heard that quote before. They say love is blind, but is that joint stupid too?
some fun. That babysitter's on the way.
It can get a little stupid
I just want to
sometimes.
show you a good time. I was so mad at myself for melting as I said, okay. We sat on the couch laughing and genuinely having a good time when the doorbell rang. The babysitter had arrived, and so we left. As we exited the house, a big man climbed out of the limo and opened the door for us. He wore a sharp suit with a gun noticeably tucked under his arm. I thought to myself, he could have made it invisible. Or did he want me to see it? Despite my reservation, Gene was a sweetheart. He was very courteous and polite. As he tipped his head and said, Good evening, ma'am, Gene drew a smile out of me as I responded, Hello. Gene and I would see each other a lot after this day. Chapter 5,
Gene Deal.
Sean Niels. The year passed, and thankfully we didn't have many bad arguments. Although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo, he would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. My problem as a single mother was I wanted to be married. He always had excuses.
Bro, what did I tell y'all about this? It's much more deep than them just, having these freak offs and them being celebrities. On a spiritual level, they are in rebellion against God intentionally. They do voodoo, they do witchcraft, same exact thing. Background singer and dancer for Beyonce has come out and exposed Beyonce for that. We see Jay-Z with well-known witches. Same thing with A$AP Rocky. We have a picture of it. It goes on and on and on. But this is the deeper spiritual battle that's actually going on within this world.
Delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up. Biggie dropped, and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, and of course, when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake, and my stupid ass took him back again. Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first, I was mad, but Mary was beautiful. It was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young, and exploring my sexuality was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. This is until one day I came home to a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Al B. Shore at the dinner table. I had a child with Al, and Sean was the father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of all of us being together had dissolved a long time ago, but it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down and we had drinks. It was fun. The conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple of drinks. I remember him saying, "It's still weird seeing you with my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared so much." Al replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment. As quietness lingered in the room, I asked, "What do you mean by all together?"
You know, damn Skippy, what he mean, Kim Porter?
Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no, Sean. This is my son's father." "Al, say something." What Al said was mind boggling. "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship, and if things became awkward, how would it affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagined both of them inside me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals, but what happened next, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Al, and then it's X'd out, so I don't know what Al did. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock, but when I saw Sean, I ran out of the room. This was too much. I couldn't. Sean called out to me, "Oh, come on, Kimmy." They didn't chase after me. And it's X'd out. So Al took the initiative. Jeez Louise. Let's go on.
Wait.
I couldn't get the image out of my mind.
Okay, so something so crazy happened that Kim Porter ended up running out of the room. Now, what could this crazy scenario be? Either someone was getting bent over or someone was on their knees, which is just completely weird. And I feel bad for Quincy because now both of his dads are getting bent over, bro. Both of his dads are getting on their knees. That's just a sad scenario. I feel bad for Kim. And then it says when she tried to run away, it just X'd out. So either, and it said that they didn't chase. So yeah, they probably just started getting busy with them too, honestly.
Couldn't be with Sean for a while, but that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position. Not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it.
Bro, that's disgusting.
But that's for later. Chapter 6. Pac. Biggie took over East Coast hip hop, and Sean was the brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took credit for them. And the music was unstoppable. At this point, Sean was sleeping with all the power players. And everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. She said he was sleeping with all the power players. Wow.
All the power players.
Sean wheeled and dealed in
Who's the other power player that we know of? All the other power players? Jay-Z ski.
a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys that really control the music to stay on top, and a lot of the names average people have never heard of. These are the guys that make the decisions on who is winning and who is not. He hosted parties that were just a fancy name for orgies, and everyone wanted in.
Everyone wanted
When
in.
I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship, and yes, I slept with Pac-ish. He was sexy. Sean didn't mind, well, not until he tried to get Pac to join both of us. Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay, and he was pissed about the advances. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, they were smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in on what I am sure he would call a smooth approach. My baby is bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I was not playing with my response. Sean, what the F? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared
Well, I
upset.
mean, like, you know what I'm saying? She did sleep with both of them at the end of the day. You know?
Behind Sean's words, but Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my dick's bigger than yours. I bet I could make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the F are you talking about, nigga? I ain't trying to run no effing train, Sean continued. What you scared of?
Yeah.
Let's see who F's better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point, we have been inviting others into our bed for a while, but I'm not used to and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, nigga, you talking about pulling your effing dick out? Sean was undaunted. What, you scared? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palpable. It felt like blows could be thrown at any moment. Months passed with only the tension between them. It was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day while we were in the studio, it happened. I walked into Sean's office and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman. Pac don't leave that effing studio alive. I don't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey Sean, good morning. Jimmy, they didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast. Smiling, Sean replied, first, let me get eggs, son.
I mean, this is Kim Porter's diary, bro. Her diary. That might be some solid evidence, you know, to reinvestigate the entire situation with Tupac.
He side up with grits and orange juice. I could see he was hung over. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous. Jimmy, apparently not hungry, said, nothing for me. As he stood to exit the room, he said, Sean, let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Kim, always a pleasure. With a wink to me and a nod to Sean, he turned and walked out. Jimmy was a part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't white as a sheet. I wasn't in the studio that night. Pac arrived being shot, thank God. From what I understood, Sean and Chris saw Pac at the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works, after being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although they saw Pac lying there swimming in a pool of his own blood, would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He, of course, assumed they placed the hit, and Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that will be unanswered. Pac didn't do well. He lost the testicle, but he survived. It was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the
Hold up. Did we just hear he lost a testicle?
something that will be unanswered. Pac didn't do well. He lost the testicle, but he survived.
Dang.
It was orchestrated, and Sean
Dang,
Puffy
that
Combs
sucks.
was the orchestrator. Chapter 7. Threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. He is going to take my life if I try to escape. One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at dinner after an event. We were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on that call will be etched into my mind forever. We're going to release Who Shot You now. He waited for a response, then went on to say, Of course they gonna think Big was talking about Pac. That's the whole effing point. Nobody would give a F about a diss track against LL. Effing Cool J. Do you know how much money we'll make with this kind of rap beef? Niggas battling after someone really got shot? This may not be the best time for this conversation. Sean was finishing up. We drop that shit tomorrow. He listened to the phone, then responded, there's going to be blood in the street. Niggas missed. Pac's alive. Let's capitalize on that shit. When he responds, let's capitalize on that ish. When he responds, it's just going to mean more money. He turned around and looked at me, spoke back into the phone. I'll call you back. Then hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to fake a smile at what I heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean was a fool. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening. But I responded as cool as I could muster to his intimidating stare. Yeah, of course. He took my hand saying, that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand until it hurt as he continued, because seeing you walk in the office while I was talking about killing that mother effer and you not saying ish to me had me just a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me. As he continued, he squeezed tighter. Your pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me. Not something I should be concerned with, right? I had no choice but to give him the answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded, of course, I'm loyal to you. He let me go as he responded, good, and remember, I'm the big dick. I snatched my hand back in pain. He smiled and said, let's start with a good wine. He snapped his fingers and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted, and what he wanted he got. I'm trapped. Now isn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I have to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle. I mean, this man just snapped his fingers in one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they poured his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is in 1994. The list to get in this place is 6 months long if you are somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight. Also, if I got up and walked out, I would be safe. But what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking? He pointed at my glass. And of course, a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes, and okay, he's roughed me up once or twice, but he never punched me. He never bruised me. And he never hit Quincy. I would not have stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son. At that time, I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big dick? Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Ish. He enjoyed Jamie too. He gets so insanely jealous. It's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does.
Yeah, this is just getting messy, bro. This is getting real messy. And I'm going to drop a video, the next video I drop. I came across this quick clip of Jamie Foxx at like some Diddy party or in a music video or something. And he was over there throwing it back. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest. It didn't look like it was AI at all. It looked like a genuine clip. So just stay tuned for that next video.
Damn, you're quiet tonight, he said, snapping me back into the presence. I asked a question.
But yeah, now we know Jamie Foxx swings that way too.
That was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. A third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, what? Would you like something? Carter responded, no thank you, then said hello to me. Then said hello to me with a smile. Smiling, I replied, hey Carter, and took a sip of my drink. The Seans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. I thought we were meeting in private. Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. I had to discuss something with her. It's fine. Go ahead. He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. It's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fist against the table, shouting, "Doesn't anyone have any effing loyalty?" Carter, well, that's not happening now, right? Sean peered at Carter with distrust. Why the F are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. F. He brought you on. You're stabbing him in the back? Carter responded with indignity. First, I'm tired of being that nigga's son. I need to come out from under his damn shadow. Sean smiled slightly. Okay, I respect that. Carter kept going. On top of that, this nigga's making that move, and it should have been with me. Sean looked at Carter blankly. Pac put Chris on. You know this. What's this really all about, Carter? Don't effing try to play me. The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. Corner, he had to spill it out. I want his spot. Ambition. Now this is a man I can work with. Sean made a grandiose gesture towards Carter. Waiter, get this MFer whatever he wants. Carter smiled. Thank you. Sean responded, honesty and ambition. We're going to make a lot of bread together. Carter ordered a drink as he stated again. Guess he won't be leaving with that nigga to do their own label now. Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. Why don't you let me worry about that? I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean, I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in his conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me. Had a limo drop you off. I didn't eat. I didn't care. We didn't eat. He didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek and left. Chapter 8, Kidada. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kidada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiancée and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just part of life. Meeting Kidada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was just about the same time I met Kimora. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact she was dating someone I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kidada. Kimora was too jealous for that. Yes, Kidada knew about Kimora, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kidada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all the tension and beef, we used to all hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But with Pac's shooting and the suspicions surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes between Kidada and I weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us. At this point, we dolled up as men, groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes. A makeup artist did our makeup, and a hairstylist did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylists in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken, but this time Kidada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong, but when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man as far as props, I had nothing on Kidada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks. Superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast musically. With all the hits that...
This is Kidada right here for anyone wondering. This is her. Because I was wondering. I didn't even know who Kidada was.
There really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kidada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As he sat, Sean said, Bad Boy is going to clean the F up. From his table with Faith, Chris replied, hell yeah. And that new ish we busting out gonna have these niggas sick. Kidada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of ginger ale that sat over her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, Pac's music gonna get some love too. Sean grimaced. Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got your differences, but you have to admit the man makes great music. Sean looked at me out of the corner of his eyes, then took another sip of his favorite cognac and replied, Bad Boy got the hottest music on the effing planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody got to get their shine, right? Kidada signed. Sean, Tupac thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You two were so close. You need to make this right. Sean responded indignantly. What the F would that nigga think I had anything to do with it? Kidada retorted. Sean, can you blame him? Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. Hell yeah, I blame him. We had a good thing going. All of us. That nigga turned on me. And he has the effing balls to blame me for his shooting? The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting. Duh. Do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night. Kimora heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and said, hey, everybody, with that big dimple smile. I smiled and replied, hey. Kidada also seemed happy to see her as she said, hey, what's up? Hey, what up, Kimmy? Kimora, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight to it. The whole place is buzzing with the fact you're sitting here accusing Sean of having Pac shot. Y'all kinda loud. She laughed. Kidada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering. But she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. Honey, we don't have to do this here. Kidada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot. Sean clenched his hands into fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones's daughter. Sean was the monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew, but he did not want any of the smoke Quincy Jones could bring. Kidada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary, both wanting to defend the super producer that made them famous, both started to stand and make their way over to the table. But Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats watching helplessly. Kidada seemed to be on full rampage. You're not safe in the streets, Sean. You think you're untouchable? Kimora seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kidada by the hand, saying, I gotta go to the restroom. Kidada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, let go of me. Kimora needed her to get a grip and said sternly, speaking to a child mid-tantrum, die. Kidada turned to her and yelled, what? Kimora nodded toward the crowded room, and Kidada looked around. Here she deflated slightly. Kimora, now in control, spoke firm but softly, let's go powder our nose. Kidada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted away, I asked Sean, you okay? Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around, saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get the pitcher of ginger ale from Kidada's table. He poured himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, and put the pitcher under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into the liquid. Oh my God. Is he peeing in the pitcher? He smiled at me as he brought the pitcher back from under the table and finally replied to me, I'm good. He then stood and returned the pitcher to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we have an argument again. Kidada and Kimura made their way back to Kidada's table to sit.
Bro, that's just devious. I wouldn't have even thought to piss in a pitcher for my worst enemy to drink. That's petty.
Watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for? As Kidada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath, if I'm right. Relieved, I replied, babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs. Sean glared at Kidada's table the entire night. Going back to Cali, we had a wild night.
That's crazy.
It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everyone was there, and we not only had threesomes, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would never have been able to do with a straight man. Ooh, she said a straight man. Let's continue. Sean cared about me, but it was becoming more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was there more to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. He was like,
I mean, if we're going to take that from anyone, we could take that from Kim Porter. That this dude prefers men over women at this point.
Every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with it. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pinkett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom. Wait a minute. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pinkett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom with its XX'd out and Will Smith. Yes, XXX attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will kind of snuggled up on the bed together. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room. I didn't really like, and the name is X'd out. Sean smiled when he saw me. Good morning. Here at the orgies, he wasn't very affectionate. He didn't have to pretend, but he couldn't walk straight. I knew how his ass felt literally.
Damn.
We had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him I'm going to get ready. He responded, let's have a cup of coffee first. This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I didn't really have a choice. He was becoming more violent when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight. So I sat down, but before we started talking, XXX came out of the room. Sean was wearing boxers. X was in his birthday suit. X addressed me, morning. When he turned around in order to close the door, there was a dried cum stain on his back. X walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Who is this X dude? Sean stretched, smiled, and said, this East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous. X responded, surprised. Business first thing in the morning? Damn, cuz, you own it. But you know you don't got nothing to worry about. You got a pass, daddy. X smiled coyly. Sean apparently has something to talk about with X as well, because he said, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent X wasn't taken aback by this turn of events by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued, it's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't be 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What does Sean want from me? This morning is turning out to be way more than I expected, and I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, X apparently wanted clarity. So to be clear, if something happened, X made quotation marks with his fingers. To one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it would be considered. He makes another set of quotation marks out of your control. Is that what you're saying? Wait a minute. Can they be talking about Biggie? Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hung over to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older, wiser me understands now what I did not comprehend all these years ago. Sean was just getting to the real reason that he had X there. The world was about to lose Biggie. X laughed. You a cold mother effer. Sean said, why the F should I protect someone that isn't going to stick around? I made him. That nigga should be worshiping the ground I effing walk on. I was thinking Sean's ego is rearing its ugly head. And I wanted to get out of there. But instincts told me I need to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any part of this, not even implicitly. But I was just dragged right into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, will I be held as an accomplice? But even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but Sean, he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I'm not killing anyone, but I'm not protecting somebody that doesn't have my back 150%. F that. This was railing out of control. My mind began to race. Is there a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. You put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw away all that money? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting really was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off his death will blow away all the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, wow. He continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculated monster. X chimes in. Dirty. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Biggie dead too. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Biggie is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything else about it. I think I know who X is, but I'm not going to say anything until something else, come out to confirm it. But I have an idea. Sean smiles and stands to walk over to a safe behind a picture. There he pulls out a bag marked with X's name. He turns to X and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me? Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. X smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure to have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to go get Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss for me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank God. X always with something to say. I'd love to meet the little tyke sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy creeps me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Who the heck is X? She did not like him. She did not like him. Let's continue.
Bro, to just take people's lives for money or whatever it is, not once but twice, who knows, even 3 times, who knows how many times Diddy had a hit put on someone. But that's just satanic at that point.
Chapter 10.
She did say he was doing voodoo and witchcraft though, so that just shows
the lies you tell. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while, and we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked it up anyway. Hi, Sean. We've been broken up for a while this time. Yeah, he continued. I don't want anyone to know about my... He paused to search for the right word. proclivities. I replied, so you don't want people to know about you being gay? Sean exploded. See, that's why I effing lose control on you. So I just plainly stated, goodbye, Sean. Wait, he screamed. What, Sean? I'm sorry, okay. You're always effing sorry. He took a deep breath. I have to do something to cover myself, I sighed. Do whatever you effing want, Sean. When you see this is in the news, it's not real. This made me calm down a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued. I'm only doing it for the press. Doing what, Sean? After a long pause, he continued. She knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me. Sean, what the hell are you talking about? Another pause. Publicly, I'm going to be dating someone else. A video girl? I laughed. Why would you do that?
J-Lo?
I have to cover myself. I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than at him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to video vixens in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Did he prefer some light-skinned, big-butt girls from videos? I called myself. No, I know he likes men any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, why the hell are you telling me? He sighed. I wanted you to find out for me first. Like I give a ish. He came at me with his favorite line. You know I love you. It was getting old. I could only think to myself, here we go. Love is a big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating someone else. I replied, you don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt. He sucked his teeth as he responded. Come on. Are you serious? That shit's for children. We aren't in effing high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hit you if I didn't. Wait. That sounded wrong. You said exactly what you meant. He took a breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. Kim, no one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me. I wanted to say, is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs? But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, you say that while you're dating some other itch? That's just for public. I was done. It could be heard in my voice as I said, whatever, Sean, do what you need to do. Leave me alone. I'm never giving up on us, he cried. I responded to that emotional control attempt with the little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him, he threw out. His emotional manipulation was really driving me crazy. This time I said with much more conviction, goodbye, Sean. I hung up. Manipulative bastard. For a while, I was actually happy to see Sean gone. I was getting older and the sex parties were out of control. It was getting time for me to slow down. Quincy was getting older. I knew that if I kept going, the rumors circulating were going to eventually find a way to get back to him. What will he think of me? Chris is about to take his trip to California. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen out there, but I felt like Deanna Wallace was about to be an orphan. I knew I didn't want any ties to that. As I was sitting there contemplating all of this in my robe, sipping my wine on this Friday evening, my doorbell rings. I was not expecting company. I opened the door and found Sean. My heart skipped a beat. I was shocked but recovered quickly. I forced a smile and told him with a slightly slurred speech, shit, I am way more intoxicated than I thought. Sean entered looking around suspiciously, then turned to me and smiled, saying, you haven't been returning my calls. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. He obviously was not. He a manipulative bastard. Older and the sex parties were out of control. If I kept going, the rumors circulating were going. Chris is about to take his trip to California. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen out there, but I felt like Deanna Wallace was about to be an orphan. I knew I didn't want any ties to that. As I was sitting there contemplating all of this in my robe, sipping my wine on this Friday evening, my doorbell rings. I was not expecting company. I opened the door and found Sean. My heart skipped a beat. I was shocked but recovered quickly. I forced a smile and told him with a slightly slurred speech, "Shit, I am way more intoxicated than I thought." Sean entered looking around suspiciously, then turned to me and smiled, saying, "You haven't been returning my calls. I just wanted to make sure you're okay." "I'm fine." He obviously was not here out of concern. He was checking to see who was here. Sean was controlling like that. Yes, even though we were not together and he was dating someone else, he started to make his way to the living room. I attempted to put a quick end to the visit, but it came out a little more directly than I intended. "So, since you can see I'm fine, you can let me go to bed now." Part of me wanted him to stay. As he entered the living room, I was forced to follow. Sean was very direct with his next inquiry. "Is someone else waiting for you?" "No, but Sean, we're not together. You're dating someone else, and I can F whoever I choose." With this, Sean became irate. He fiercely slammed me to the ground. Then he pulled out a 22 and set it on the end table. He turned to me calmly. I was scared. My voice quivered as I pleaded to him, "Sean, please stop. Quincy is here." How did we get here? How did we get to the point that he was in my living room threatening me with a gun? He knelt on one knee and got right in my face to say, "You're mine. You don't have a choice in that now. I can't live without you." He stood up, composing himself. I was terrified as I whimpered, "Sean, that's not love." Sean picked up his gun and cocked it. He looked at me almost thoughtfully and asked, "Have you ever heard, if I can't have you, no one can?" "Sean, please don't. Please, Quincy will hear." Sean smiled and put the gun away, saying, "Oh, this is just for dramatic effect. I would never shoot you. If I was going to kill you, no one would trace it to me. You know how many people I've had to take care of over the years? It would be quiet. Something in your food or drink." Oh my God. Something in your food or drink.
Bro, the amount of confirmation this book right here gives for how Diddy has been taking these people's lives is insane. We had the first man. So we had Tupac getting shot. Now we have Biggie, and now we have Kim Porter, who passed away before she was able to make this book public. And now we're able to see, just by the way that she was being treated by him, which he thought was love, but he was more so just so controlling. It was honestly looking like hate at that point. Just the fact that he would even pull out a gun on her like that, slam her to the ground, shows that he will go very, very far so no one else can have her. Maybe as even far as putting something in her drink or food.
"Something that will never get back to me. I wouldn't shoot you. Do you understand?" I could only nod, tears flowing down my cheeks. He looked at me thoughtfully. As he reached down to help me up, I could do nothing but agree. He's a terrifying monster. Now he wanted to smooth it over, and I had to go along with it. What else could I do? "Listen, baby, I don't ever want to hurt you. You know I really love you, or I would have moved on. Thinking about living my life without you is just too hard. If someone ever tried to hurt you, I would kill them." My back hurt from where I hit it on the table when he shoved me. All I could do as he helped me up was nod that I understood through my streaming tears, which he wiped. He looked toward Quincy's room. "Let me say goodbye." "No, Sean, please." Thinking quickly, he has to get up in the morning. Sean looked at me with an unreadable look. He was studying me. "Okay, I'm gonna go." Nervously, I walked him to the front door. "This is over, thank God." He kissed me. I didn't want him touching me, but I couldn't refuse. "Kiss Quincy for me." I tried to keep my composure as I replied, "Sure, Sean." He opened the door to leave. The bodyguard that was waiting outside escorted him to the car. This was far worse than I realized. Why would he need a bodyguard at my front door? How was he anticipating this go? After I shut the door, I had another drink. For tonight, the nightmare was over. I sipped on my wine and cried. The next few days, he sent dozens of flowers. He brought Quincy expensive toys. He didn't want me. He wanted me to keep his secret. I'm trapped. He has the authorities under his thumb. I can't go to them. This is like a gangster movie. How high up does his power go? How far is his reach? The FBI, the CIA, who is not corrupted or who won't be silenced by their upper chain of command? Can anyone help me and my child? He found his way back to my bed. I had no choice.
That makes sense. That's another reason why people really didn't come out and speak against Diddy, is because a lot of the authorities, like she said, they were being paid off or either controlled by Diddy and them, because he has connects with even more elite people. That's why it's just very interesting to see how all of this plays out, because it seems as if, God is working, and there are people, within the authorities, FBI investigators, that have some sense of justice and compassion when it comes to a case like this.
Well, a mama's love. The calamity that ensued between the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was complicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. This was his friend. No, they were not nearly as close as Sean would have the public believe, but still, as far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having the off and on relationship of a normal couple. And I probably just seemed like a money hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to not having a choice. Today I recognized it for what it was. Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. That is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night I was out with my boyfriend. Yes, we were on again. We were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace spoke with a smile. "Hello, Sean. Hi, Kim." I smiled the best I could. With the situation, for all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, "Hi, Miss Wallace." Sean smiled also as he said, "Hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you?" When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation of my life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you could send some of that money Chris made with you this way." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. "I haven't seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, These things are difficult, Miss Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy." Miss Wallace pushed further. "I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it?" Sean shook his head as if saddened by what he was saying as he continued. "It's not like I can just give you his money. You're entitled to certain amounts, and they are just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me to just give you tons of money. You got rich off my son, and now you're keeping all of his money?" Sean kept his cool as he replied, "I'm afraid business isn't that cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I pay for publishing, publicity. I mean, in all actuality, if I'm going to be straightforward, Miss Wallace, Chris probably owed me money. I won't know until it's all worked out." The anger in Miss Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified it as she uttered the only words she could muster. "You bastard." Sean didn't flinch. He just said, Look at the contract. I'm honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it. But I have investors. I can't just take money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away." Miss Wallace exploded in response. "You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damned thing." Sean stared her straight in the eye unwaveringly and said he would have started making a profit after a few years. His money until his album sales, paid for studio time, music, videos, publishing, and marketing would have come from doing shows. "I'm sorry he isn't here to make that money. I miss him." Her response was deadpan. "Did you kill my son?" Momentarily, Sean was stung into silence.
That mama instinct.
She asked him again, her voice quivering. Did you? He started. Miss Wallace. She would not be redirected. Answer the question. I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. No, of course not. She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine as she replied with a menace only a mother can. I don't believe you, Sean. Sean looked at her with a sadness that I knew in my soul to be fake. Although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him as he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today I know he was able to muster that false sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then, I thought it was compassion. With no more words, Miss Wallace stood up and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief.
Bro, that is absolutely insane. And very, very sad. Like, bro, Biggie had an entire mom that cared and loved for him and everything. And she spoke to the killer in his face and still denied it. Bro, this just shows that Diddy's greed was on a whole nother level, that he would go that far just for some dollars.
Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. It's like he has an animal mentality. Let's go on. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real. If she goes public with her accusations, Sean's image will be damaged. I have felt for myself the extents he will go through in order to protect that image. Chapter 13, have some faith.
Alright, so we're going to leave that one right here. We watched 1 hour of the video. We're going to watch the last 30 minutes in part 2, so stay tuned for that. I just didn't want to make this video way too long. It's an hour-long video. So catch the part 2. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and like the video, man. And comment down below any thoughts that you've had throughout this entire video thus far, because you guys know I do enjoy reading the comments. So do that. I'm going to catch